Knock off toy friends! Welcome to another episode of Stark Raving Hazelnuts. I am your host, Johnny B, and for this episode, I've arranged a heavyweight championship match. In the blue corner, I've got the 2020 Monsterverse Playmates Giant Godzilla. And in the pink corner, we got the knockoff version that just arrived in the mail yesterday. We're gonna take these two big Godzilla behemoths, we're gonna put them in the ring, we're gonna ring that bell, and we're gonna let them go at it, mono to find out who is the biggest, baddest Godzilla in the Monsterverse toy shop. So what you gonna do, brothers, when the biggest Godzilla's in the shop run wild on you? Woo!
And without further ado, let's open him up and let's get this party rolling. This looks pretty cool so far. Look at this. Let's continue. Boom. Look at this. Holy crapola. This is, oh my God, this looks amazing. When the figure is better than it looked on the internet. Here we go. Big reveal. Knockoff new Empire Godzilla. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Let's get it on with round number one, the color. Here is the Playmates Giant Godzilla right here, done in a light smoke gray, and we have the knockoff new Empire Godzilla done in a dark smoke gray. I am going with the knockoff on this one. I just prefer my Godzillas to have a darker color palette to the overall plastic and base coat. So round number one goes to new Empire. Round two is fin color. And this is one of these rare cases where the knockoff actually looks better than the legitimate store-bought Playmates original. Take a look at this. Whoever came up with Robin's Egg Blue as a choice for fins needs to be let go right now. Furthermore, whoever airbrushed this thing, what was it, done Friday at like 2 minutes to 5 before finishing time? Look at the random spritzing airbrush there. And it stops at the tail. What is that? This is total half-assed, in my opinion, compared to the knockoff version, which, in my opinion, this is what that should have looked like. Full fin coverage in a nice, attractive color. In this case, it's kind of like a pink luster with a sheen. And what's really nice is whoever painted this gave it a scale fade. Look at that. It fades the color right into the scales, and they're not cheaping out. They do the tail. This one, round two, no-brainer, winner, new Empire knockoff Godzilla. Round number three is fin design and sculpt. Let's take a look at the Playmates Godzilla. Look at this. Nice, big, sharp, spiky fins that run the whole body. Very cool, very nice, very traditional. Let's take a look at the new Empire knockoff version. For some reason, they thought it would be a good idea to buff those fins down, even here along the tail. Look at those. They've been buffed down a bit. It's not that I dislike the look of this. It's totally fine and cool. And if you didn't compare it to the other one, it would be totally awesome. But I'm sorry, I've got to give it to the Playmates original, for the original fins, the big, sharp, spiny fins. Tail to back just looks better. So, round number three goes to the Playmates Giant Godzilla. Round Round number 4, the head and the head sculpt. So let's take a look first here at the Giant Godzilla. Look at this, very nice sculpt here. Mouth does not move, but that's okay. I think they could have done a little more work on the tongue and the teeth to make them pop more, because the color is so light on the teeth and the tongue that from a distance, it totally gets lost with the light gray plastic. So that's kind of a bummer. But the sculpt is nice, and I like the deep set eyes here on the brow. Very nice. Let's take a look at the knockoff. Here is the knockoff. So on the face value of it, the knockoff sculpt on the head is very, very good for a knockoff. Totally passable. Looks great. The brows and the eyes are not sunk quite as deep to give it that menacing look, but the eye color is better. And although it looks like he's been eating a coconut cream pie and the tongue is really crazy red, look at it from a distance. You can still see the eye and the mouth, and this coconut cream pie kind of looks like teeth at this point. Now, that being said, attractive ability on display is very nice, but I'm a big fan of head sculpt. So this one, round number 4, head sculpt goes to the Playmate Godzilla. Round number 5, the tail. And this is a difficult one. For this, we have the Giant Godzilla from Playmates, and as I said before, the paint stops at the tail. Bummer. Look at this. But the spikes are really nice, and the sculpt is great. Really cool. No real problems there until we bring in the knockoff version, the new Empire. Tail still rotates like that. Look at this. Full tail, shimmering pink, and it's got the new Empire edition added onto it. Looks great. I love this tail. Look at that. And if you compare the two of them side by side, the winner is clear and obvious. Look, I mean, it's not the tail, but you can see what I mean about the paint on the fade off the fins in the back. It just fades beautifully, and then we go down the tail. I mean, this is a no-brainer. I don't even have to tell you which tail is better. Yeah, winner for this round, easy winner, is the knockoff version, the new Empire Godzilla. We move on to round 6, the overall sculpt. So let's take a look first at the new Empire. Now, the one thing I do like about this, and I will say for a knockoff figure, the sculpt on this piece overall is a 10 out of 10 for a knockoff. It's totally cool, well done, and I mean especially the back. Look at the deep detail on those spines working down into the scales. Looks great. However, it starts to lose and get a little bit softer once you get into the hands here, and arms starts to lose it a bit. The legs are still excellent. The tail is decent. Some fairly good sharpness here. Not bad, but for detail, it's best on the back. Let's take a look at the Playmates. The Playmates suffers from the opposite problem. Take a look at the back. The back scales here near the fins are not quite as polished, a little bit less on detail and sharpness, but the arms, very well done. Hands, very well done. Legs, feet, very well done. Detailed. Tail is nice and sharp with the cuts. Look at that. So, round number 6 goes to the Playmate Godzilla for better overall sculpt. Now we move in to round number 7, mobility, and this one is really easy. This is the knockoff version, the new Empire. You got movability here in the arms, you got it in the legs and the tail, but the hands and the feet are secured to the figure. There is no posability there, whereas on the Playmate version, you've got full 180, 360 rotation, hands and feet and tail. The winner of round 7, mobility features, definitely the Playmates Godzilla. finally, guys, we're down to round 8, displayability. Displayability, and that's how the figure looks on your display from a distance. Okay, so let's take a look at them individually. There is the Playmates Godzilla. Here is the knockoff New Empire Godzilla. I mean, guys, it's up to personal taste, but I'm giving round 8 the victory to the New Empire Godzilla. And here's why. The color of the fins are better. They all stand out. They are vibrant. They're colorful. They shoot out at you. They're nicely highlighted by the darker use of the mold plastic. Very nice. And you can see the head, the eyes, teeth, and the tongue stand out better. Similarly, we all pose our figures in different directions. This one is posable to the left, and it's posable to the right, and it's posable 3/4 view. Let's take a look at the Playmate. The Playmate looks great from this angle. It doesn't pop in terms of color and detail quite as nicely, in my opinion, as the knockoff New Empire version. But the real downfall of this figure, and if you've got it, you know what I mean, the left side view is horrendous. Look at these giant, deep sunk screws for assembly. Absolutely unforgivable, and I'm not a fan of this clear and obvious seam that runs down the back of that attachment. Now, I don't know why, like Playmates couldn't have leveled these screws to the skin level and scale level and used gray screws to at least try to blend them. They didn't do that, so this just looks awful. Look at this. So displayability to the left is even 3/4. It's even worse, 3/4. So displayability, definitely, I am giving it to this new Empire knockoff bootleg version of the Playmates original for overall displayability. And that's the end of the match. We've had 8 rounds, and no surprise, it kind of figures, given that there's always spins and roundabouts with these knockoffs and originals. It is actually a draw at 4 rounds apiece, and like always, it comes down to personal choice for whatever figure you really like. For me, in this case, I do prefer the knockoff for the display reasons I've already talked about, rather. And the other thing I really like about it is what I love about knockoffs in general is the exclusivity of owning it. Now, I got this particular figure right here on AliExpress. It cost me $29.38, which is a steal. It's a steal for the quality of this figure, because if I were to take this figure here and I were to package it up and I were to ship it to my buddy in Texas, it would cost me $29 by USPS priority. That's what it would cost me. But I got this thing shipped from China for less than $30. So it's basically pay for shipping, we'll give you the figure for free. You can't go wrong with that. So I just love this figure, and I'm going to keep this one on display in my collection. The other one here, this is going to go back onto Facebook Marketplace where I picked it up originally. Gonna sell it there, and some other child or collector will enjoy it. Probably drop it for like $15 and see if it get any bites. Anyway, guys, thanks very much for tuning in to this awesome Godzilla, Playmates versus knockoff Playmates original comparison video. Hope you liked it. If you do like knockoff Godzilla figures, if you do like superhero knockoffs, by all means take a look at my other videos in the library. Like and subscribe, because we got tons of stuff available for you. Until next time, guys, this is Johnny B saying thank you for your patronage, thank you for your viewership, and peace out.